today we are going to be looking at Naked Wines. These guys, if you don't know about them, absolutely incredible. They have gone through phenomenal growth, and I saw recently that they'd actually crossed the £200 million in revenue threshold. And a lot of that growth actually came from lockdown, funnily enough, because people are looking to get, you know, more deliveries and things. But even prior to that, these guys had really had a very clever and unique marketing strategy that you don't often see. So I'm really excited to kind of have a look behind the curtains on this one and really break down what these guys do. They are absolute masters in kind of persuasion, sales psychology, and really leveraging things like you know, scarcity and fear of missing out and other kind of hot triggers and buttons to incentivize people to purchase, right, and to make people want to buy. So really excited to have a real deep dive into this one and show you exactly what these guys are actually doing and what they're up to. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the website and just break down the website and the elements on there, because they've gone for quite a unique approach with the site as well. We're then going to have a look, you know, behind the scenes at some of the campaigns they're running. What are they doing on the organic side? What kind of paid advertising strategies are they doing? We're then going to have a look at one of their, I'd say one of their most unique kind of marketing aspects, which is really they've built up some really incredible strategic partnerships and strategic affiliates as well to help grow the brand and expand awareness. So and guys, as always, as you're tuning in, please say hi in the comments below. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and any thoughts or feedback or comments you have as we're watching through this, any observations you have, drop it in the comments below. Let me know. If you're watching this live, comment below #live. If you're watching on the replay, comment #replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from, where around the world you are, where in the country you are. And yeah, let's dive straight into it. So I'm just going to share my screen and move you guys. Awesome. Here we go. Richard Bradley from Kent. Hello, Richard. Thank you for being here, my friend. Cool. So first things first, let's have a look at their website. So what you'll probably notice about this site is it's very minimalistic. There are no header menus, right? Like you typically see on a website like About Us, blog, contact page, all of that. They don't have any of that here. And this is very reminiscent of something you would see on a specific landing page, or sometimes known as a squeeze page, right? Which is built for one core goal, and that's a conversion, right? It's to get that customer to sign up. It's not a brochure and somewhere, you know, for people to click around and learn everything about you. It's a very specific, hyper targeted page. And this is the same that you'll see with people like Netflix, right? If you go onto netflix.com, they have one core landing page. The good thing about that and having one core entry point is you can test it, right? You can really work on optimizing and fine tuning what wording works, what buttons are working, what page layout works, where can we inject some credibility and testimonials to increase our conversions. When you've got a big website, it's much more difficult to test it because you've got multiple entry points. You don't know what pages people are going to be coming on from. And you will also find with a website, the reason they don't convert as highly as a dedicated landing page like this is because people do get lost in your menus, right? They click around, they look on the about page, they look on your services, and before they know it, something's happened, they've got distracted, they've had to go elsewhere. Whereas with this, it's very clear what they want people to do, right? They want them to get started, as you'll see throughout a consistent call to action. So firstly, the header, like we always talk about, great header here. Discover the best way to enjoy great wine. Your direct access to the world's best winemakers. Like a really, really captivating hook for anybody that loves wine. You know, what does this mean? Like your direct access to the world's best winemakers. Like it's a really powerful hook for their particular audience. Support independent winemakers, get better wine in return. We fund talented winemakers up front, which means a winemaker gets a fair deal and you get the best wine possible, all at mate's rates. I love this. And the whole kind of tone of voice and language they use as well, really down to earth, really friendly. It's a really cool brand that they've built up. And you'll see here in these pictures as well, like I really love these pictures. And you've got this kind of, you know, prestige, luxurious looking picture here with all these nice wines. You've then got someone taking a delivery into their home. So it's really kind of taking you through that buyer journey and kind of getting you to imagine and see how it looks like, oh, I can get all these amazing wines like delivered to me. You'll see here they've got some credibility and some social proof, 300,000 members. Wine Revolution, and you'll notice they've got this at the bottom here as well, right? Really emphasizing that this is the step we want you to take. Like, are you in? Get started. There's not lots of things for people to click around, you know, no room for confusion here. And again, I love this, like anything you can do to simplify the process and to help people understand really what you're offering is going to work wonders for your conversion. So like this is a really, really beautiful way of kind of articulating what they're actually offering, right? So winemaker straight to you with Naked Wines. Whereas what you normally do is you go through an importer, then goes to a retail buyer. So, you know, you're paying higher prices and you're not getting that kind of direct access. So very, very clever way of presenting that. You'll see you've got some additional testimonials here. And this is something I quite often talk about, like having testimonials and bits of social proof just littered throughout the homepage can really help to improve your conversions because it's keeping that momentum and that excitement. You know, so many people, as they get down a website, they will end up bouncing, they'll end up clicking off because, you know, they don't find it interesting. They think it looks the same as everything else out there. When you can litter those testimonials through, it kind of engages people and makes them excited and keeps that momentum going. I love this as well. The wine world superstars work for you now, and they love every minute of it. Very, very clever. And then they've got a promise here at the bottom as well. So just kind of sealing the deal on what they're offering. And again, you've just got some kind of high level benefits here. No tie-ins, 100% no quibble refund guarantee, no membership fees. So they're really making this like, you know, I did a video on this a little while back, but it's, you know, this idea of making like a Don Corleone Godfather offer, right? Like making people an offer that they can't refuse. Like this does become a no-brainer. You know, when you look at this and you see these bits, like that's a good point. Why would I do this? You know, and there's no tie-ins. There's a no quibble refund guarantee. There's no membership fees. Like what have I got to lose? And you really want to be thinking that as you are going through your own website, your own landing page, your own marketing materials, ask yourself, is this an absolute no-brainer offer? Because if it's not, there's a very good chance people are going to be refusing it and they're going to treat it like everything else they see. So you really want to be thinking, how can I make this as irresistible and as much of a no-brainer as possible? Again, like I just want to emphasize how simple this whole thing is. And you'll notice here, like I love this as well. This is quite cool. But when you click on it, really nice process. Like it loads up a chat bot. Right, I'm Eamon the Wine Guy. It's got a picture here, so it's very personal as well. Let's find out if you're buying wine the smart way. 3 easy questions, and you'll get £30 of free wine. It's like an interactive quiz, but it's not, you know, a form. It's not like contact us. You put in your details. It feels very personable. It feels very interactive. They're engaging their customers, and the clever thing about this, through these 3 questions, they are educating you on why buying from Naked Wines is the best thing to do, right? So like the kind of questions they're asking, there is only 40p of wine in a £5 bottle, right? So these are things that, you know, you may or may not know the answer to, but it's kind of getting you to think like, I'm getting ripped off. So by the time you get to the end of this, let's just go through this now. True. You see, so they're really like educating you as you go through this. I'm just going to click through to all of these. Many brands spend more on marketing than they do on wine, true or false? You see how it's just very, very engaging with their customers, and they're really like taking people through that customer journey and that process. Try it now. And then they offer you, do you have a voucher from one of our lovely partners? See, look, and they give you a voucher. And the other clever thing that I want to mention here, in fact, I'll come on to this in a bit, but there's some really clever psychology that goes on behind the positioning of their vouchers. They are very, very intentional not to refer to these as discounts, right? Like you're not getting a discount or a special offer. Everywhere you see, they either refer to it as a voucher or money towards something. Very, very clever positioning that can make a really big difference, but we'll come on to this in a bit. So that's the website. You get an idea of how that works. They take you through the flow, and we'll kind of move on a bit further through this buyer journey in a bit. But before we get onto that, I just want to show you what's going on behind the scenes with these guys. So you see, obviously over the years, you know, these guys are getting 214,000 visitors approximately to their website each month at the moment. They're getting about 35K from paid traffic. They've got tons of backlinks coming to their sites, and we'll come into one of the reasons why that is in a bit. And they're running quite a few display ads as well. So actually, before we get on to anything else, I just want to show you some of the display ads here, because I think this is a really good example of how they do things very differently. So you'll see here, look, most wine drinkers don't know these 5 simple do's and don'ts, right? So again, really, really clever. They're not saying, oh, come shop at Naked Wines because we're the best wine supplier. And that's what most companies do, right? When they run advertising campaigns, they promote the brand. These guys are relying on how can we speak to our audience and how can we grab their attention and engage with them first. This is a big, big missing step with most advertising campaigns and most marketing, is that people go out and they blur their marketing message all over the place, right? Like spewing it up everywhere. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants your marketing sick all over them. People want to be engaged. They want to be entertained. They want to learn. So what they've done that's very clever is they've injected this curiosity. Most wine drinkers don't know these 5 simple do's and don'ts. As a wine drinker, you're thinking like, what do you mean? I know everything about wine. And it's really encouraging people to click. And you'll see if we have a look at where this actually goes to, again, unlike most brands, it doesn't just go to the home page. It actually goes to a very, very specific landing page that speaks into this ad. So let's have a look. 5 golden rules to finding a good bottle of wine. Hang on. Oh, this is a US thing. 5 golden rules to finding a good bottle of wine. So again, they've hooked us in as their audience. They've called out their audience. Are you a wine drinker? So they know. And the great thing about this as well, it's not just a blanket ad. Like they're speaking to a particular audience. They're only getting clicks from people who they know are their audience. They're then again engaging them with a quiz. And through this quiz, this is going to start, like we saw on the website, start educating people and getting them to think about how this is such a better way. It's so clever. Just when you think about this, like instead of saying to people, you're spending too much on wine, they are getting their audience to realize themselves why it is such a no-brainer. And guys, this is incredibly powerful, because I think I did a video on this recently as well, but people do not like to be sold to, right? We don't like to be sold to. We love to buy, right? And this is a big misconception right now. People are saying, oh, it's a pandemic, it's lockdown. People, have been put out of their jobs and they don't want to spend. People love to spend because it makes us feel good when we buy things, right? Even if we have to take out a loan or get a credit card or sell some things, we want to buy. But we just don't want to be sold to. We want to come to that decision by ourselves. And this is one of the things they do phenomenally well. They put, you know, they use these engagement hooks to get people to go through these kind of curiosity quizzes and things like that, to get people to come to their own conclusion that, holy shit, like, I need to sign up to these guys. This is a no-brainer. So people feel empowered in the decision that they're making. So another thing that I want to show you here is referrals. Now, this is actually much lower than I thought it would be. This basically means 1.8% of the traffic these guys are getting is from referral sources. Now, this isn't always 100% accurate, but what referral sources means is it's been another website has sent traffic to Naked Wines, right? These are their traffic sources. But you may have seen this in the past. These guys, I have received a Naked Wine voucher in so many deliveries. You know, I think Amazon deliveries I've seen them in. Jane, you said you've had some before, haven't you? Yeah. Naked Wine vouchers. They've really been very, very clever about picking out some strategic partners where they basically just give vouchers, right? So it's a win-win for everyone. Like the supplier or the seller of, you know, whether it be Amazon or anyone else, they're able to give their customers free value by sticking a nice wine voucher in there. And for Naked Wines, they're getting a sign up and a customer out of it. So really, really clever. And this is one of the areas that they've been very intentional. And you'll see here, like, I've got an example of a publication called The List, a UK publication. They talk about food and drink and stuff like that. So they probably know they have a lot of wine lovers as their audience, you know, people who like, people who enjoy food and drink, that kind of thing. So for Naked Wines, this is probably like one of their core audiences. I don't know what the deal is that they have with these guys, but I would imagine it looks like this is probably some sort of affiliate scheme. So they may not even be paying, Naked Wines may not even be paying The List to advertise on here. It might be that they've just got an affiliate scheme, because sometimes that can be the best option, right? If The List can give, you know, a £75 voucher to their customers who are wine drinkers, happy days, they're able to deliver additional value. And if they can get paid an affiliate commission from people that click on this, they're able to just have an additional revenue source into the business, right? So you'll see, and they've got like little banner ads that come up on some of the articles that you're reading on their website. So really cool placements. So if we actually click on this, you'll see here, this goes through to a landing page. And I want to talk about something here as well, which I find very clever. But you'll see how they've actually got, this is probably an affiliate code, right? So when someone puts in their email address and claims it, if those people then buy, or when those people buy, The List will get paid an affiliate commission. So it's a win-win, right? And one of the things that I really love about this is pre-filled in. And again, this is very, very clever from a psychological standpoint, because it's the same way as, you know, I've talked in the past about how when you see some of the highest converting e-commerce stores, and even just landing pages in general, they usually have a progress bar at the top of the checkout process, because we don't like to leave things unfinished. I think there's a psychological phenomenon, some term behind it. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but we don't like to leave things unfinished. So if we can see we're already halfway through a process, we want to finish it. And it's similar to what they've done here in having these auto filled out. So it's like, hey, look, everything's ready to go. These bits are filled out already. All you need to do now is fill in your email address. All right, so let me put my email address in here. And I'm going to claim this. Congratulations, you have £75 to spend on wine. I'm just going to click some random things. So again, you see how like, and what I like about this is they are, what they're doing here right now is they're kind of trying to gauge like what kind of wine, what kind of bundles are really going to appeal to me. And then depending on what you click on, they present you with a custom offer, right? So again, really clever. So they're doing these things for you. So, you know, again, I can't remember what those options were, but they are now presenting me with a wine bundle based on the choices I have. And you'll see how they're really making this a bit of a no-brainer here again. You have £75 to spend on wine. And they've got, you know, was £122, your voucher 75, you pay £47. So you look at it and you think, holy shit, I'm getting an absolute bargain. Everyone is backed by 100% no quibble refund guarantee. So as you read through these, you are reading this and you're thinking, this is an absolute no-brainer. 12 delicious wines, only £3.99 per bottle it works out, right, after the discount's been applied. So again, as you are going through this process, you just think, what a no-brainer this is. The other thing they do here, which is quite clever, by the time you get to this process, you are thinking, I don't want to lose this now. Like, I've started this, I've committed, I've gone through this link, I've signed up for my voucher, I've come through here. What if I lose this? Like, I don't want to lose this fantastic deal. So then they talk about, again, when you click add to basket, they show you everything that's going to happen, what's going to happen next. Very, very, very clever. And the thing that you'll notice here with Naked Wines, and I would imagine, again, I don't know the details of how they have these set up with their affiliate partners and their kind of strategic partnerships they've got. But if they are paying an affiliate commission, because this is a subscription service, they may even, you know, just be breaking even, right, on that first initial transaction. So, and this is an important thing to think about. Like, if you do have a subscription service, can you afford to break even, or maybe even have like a loss leader to begin with to acquire that customer? If you know that, you know, let's say 90% of the customers who sign up with you end up staying with you, right? So it really takes kind of looking at, okay, what's our average order value? What's our churn rate? How long the customers often stay with us for once they've made their first purchase? And once you've got those figures and you've got those numbers, you've got those averages, it really empowers you when you're doing marketing campaigns. You know that actually, you know, how can we sweeten the deal, get all of these affiliate partners who can send tons of traffic to us, make it an absolute no-brainer for them because we're paying them great affiliate commissions. We're not making any money at the front end, but we know we make all of our money back at the back end, right, in those recurring payments. So when you know those figures so intimately in your business, you will find there are so many options that open up from a marketing perspective. And again, whilst I don't know the details of exactly the kind of partnerships Naked Wines have, it's very, very, very clever. And I would imagine they are, you know, leveraging some form of affiliate commissions for these traffic sources. So they have basically said, like, in a nutshell, to recap this, what it effectively comes down to is thinking about who is my audience, who currently has my audience, right? What media publications, what groups, what magazines, what companies already have my perfect customer, and how can I form a partnership with them that is an absolute no-brainer and makes sense to them and is, you know, is a irresistible offer to them? How can I bring value to their customers for them to get an introduction into our brand, right? And this is a big thing to think about, like, because I see this, I see people doing this a lot when they, you know, I've had people reaching out to me trying to pitch a partnership, for example, and they make it about them. They say, oh, we're this really great company and we do all these things, so you should definitely partner with us. I don't care about that. Like, that's no incentive for me. If you said, hey, I want to offer you this to give to your customers, it's going to make you look flipping awesome, then I'm listening, right? Then I'm listening. So again, when you think of this, even though I don't know the details or the negotiations behind the scenes, I would imagine this is how it's been positioned to these kind of publications, and that, look, hey, we're going to give you a voucher to give to your customers who you already know are wine lovers, are food and drink lovers. It becomes a no-brainer. And I want to come back to what we were talking about earlier with the positioning of these vouchers, and then just being very, very intentional, as you would have seen with those things there, like how they position it as a voucher, money towards something instead of a discount. Because that way, discounts, when as a brand you offer too many discounts and money off and sales and things, you can have that kind of stigma attached to your brand that you're cheap, and you can become the discount brand. So when it comes to actually wanting to raise your prices, it can become very difficult to do so, because your brand has been built on this idea of it being cheap and it being happy and lots of discounts and stuff. Whereas when you can reposition that as, hey, we want to give you £100 toward this. Like when I've had these emails in my inbox before. I was telling Jane the other day, and they say like, we want to give you £500, and you're like, grabs your attention. You click on it and it says, we want to give you £500 toward this service or toward that service. Again, there's none of that association with it being cheap, and you think like, wow, that's a really cool gesture. Like I'll be a fool to miss out on it. Even though in reality, it's the same thing as giving someone £500 off. It's just the positioning has such a different impact when we actually read it like that, because again, it doesn't feel like we're being sold to, right? We're being engaged. It feels like we're getting an absolute bargain. So I think this is really one of the core takeaways with Naked Wine and everything they are doing in their marketing, is they are really going out of their way to not sell, but to engage with their audience through content that they know they are going to resonate with, and content that will serve to educate them and make them think it is an absolute no-brainer decision. So hopefully you picked up a few things throughout this training. I think throughout this teardown, sorry, if you can walk away with anything from this, that would be it. Just think about, what things can I do to stop marketing and pitching to our customers, and to start actually engaging with them and giving them things that they enjoy, right? Like always think about, and I've seen a few examples of this recently where, brands have been talking about things like, oh, here's why you should be doing this, or here's why you should be doing that. Do people really want to engage with that or not? Like you have to think about, when you're putting out a piece of content, think, would I actually want to engage with this? Like, is this exciting? Is there a lot of curiosity behind this? And again, like I think this example of this ad is just brilliant, right? Most wine drinkers don't know these 5 simple do's and don'ts. These kind of ads are really powerful, because it's almost like challenging you, right? It's calling you out as a wine drinker, saying, I bet you don't know this. Or making you think there's something you're missing out on. There's like a bit of FOMO behind it as well. So really think about how you can use this in your marketing. Like, meet your audience where they're at, step into their world, and then really, really just engage with them. Simon, ask yourself, so what? Yeah, brilliant. I love that, Simon. Like, so what is such a powerful question, right? Anything you write, whenever you're writing whether it be website copy or just marketing messaging in general, ask yourself, so what, right? We're award winners. So what? What does that mean for me? Like, always is such a powerful question to be asking yourself whenever you're doing any kind of, promotional or marketing messaging. It's a really, really powerful question to ask. So let's, in fact, let's just have a look at their text ads. I'm curious to see this. See, again, here, I love this, and I want to use this as an example. Typically, when you see ads, they say the best. I mean, that's a kind of example of it. Voted #1 wine club. No middlemen, just great wine. I think that kind of has a bit of curiosity. 5 simple wine do's and don'ts, right? And this is very clever, and especially with something like Google Ads. There is a huge opportunity in Google Ads for so many different industries, because like accountants, for example. One of our clients who is an accountant, when you type accountants into Google, you see the same thing over and over and over again. All of the ads say 15 years experience, 5-star reviews, blah, blah, blah. And they all say the same thing. So when you're thinking about running ad campaigns, do some competitor analysis beforehand and ask yourself, how can I just take a wildly different position here? Even if you are 15 years in experience and 5-star reviews, think about, how can I have a really standout position? So like this, for example, 5 simple wine do's and don'ts. If you were looking for wine and you saw this and you saw like best wine, best wine, best wine, best wine, and you just think, oh my God, like everyone says the same thing. And then you suddenly see this. This is going to grab your attention. This is what's going to stand out to you. It's not to, and you know, that's not because they're not the best wine company, but they're just taking a very, very different approach that's actually going to pull their audience in with something that's going to be of value and of interest to them. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. If there is anything else, any other questions you have about this one, I'd love to cover it. I might do a more in-depth video on this and upload it to our YouTube channel, because I really think what these guys are doing is fascinating, and there's some really, really powerful lessons within their overall marketing strategy that a lot of businesses can learn from. We can learn from them. I think there's elements in there that we can kind of all really learn from to help really boost our marketing. So I hope it's been valuable. I'll be back on Wednesday for another website roast. So if you do have a website you want me to look through and we can get audited, critiqued, and give you some practical feedback and suggestions on how you can improve your traffic, leads, and sales, be sure to send me a direct message or drop it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get it covered. Simon, thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. Guys, hope you all have an awesome rest of the week, an awesome rest of the Monday, and I will speak to you all again very soon.